All right, let's talk about something that can either be incredibly smooth or incredibly awkward. Docking a sailboat. Ever watched someone trying to dock and thought, wow, that looks like they're trying to fit a giraffe into a compact car? Yeah, me too. But before we get into the nitty-gritty of avoiding a public boat-related meltdown, I want to ask, are you the type of person who believes a nautical chart is just a suggestion? If so, buckle up because we're about to challenge that belief. First things first, planning. I know, it sounds about as exciting as watching paint dry, but trust me, it's crucial. We're not just gonna wing it and hope for the best. Although that approach has led to some interesting situations. We will cover Chart Dissection 101, understanding channel markers that aren't random floating decorations, and tide tables which, spoiler alert, are not optional. We'll also be covering the often ignored speed limits because apparently sailboats aren't supposed to break the sound barrier in a harbor. So, before you channel your inner speed demon, pay attention, because next up, we will be talking about the radio chatter, which involves less music and more crucial information. Now, onto the VHF radio. Think of it as the nautical version of a gossip hotline, but with way higher stakes. We'll dive into how to hail the harbor master without sounding like you've never seen a boat before and avoid being the talk of Channel 16 for all the wrong reasons. If you don't know what secure it means, you better watch this part, because knowing a few key phrases can save you from a lot of trouble or from a close encounter with a very big, very angry container ship. Next, we're talking boat prep, and that doesn't mean deciding which color of your sailing shoes to wear. So before you even think about approaching the marina, we're going full-on preparation mode. Fenders at the ready, looking like inflated sausages of protection. Dock lines coiled so they won't become a tangled mess. And an engine check because relying on the wind in a crowded harbor is like relying on a toddler to make you dinner. Hilarious, but ultimately disastrous. Oh, and a friendly reminder, unless you're trying to win the most dramatic harbor entrance award, drop those sails, you can look like a sailor later. The next point is about how to approach the harbor entrance, and believe me, we need to discuss this before you try. Now it's showtime approaching the harbor entrance. It's not a free-for-all, okay? It's more of a delicate ballet, or at least it should be. You need to maintain situational awareness like a hawk with a caffeine addiction, assessing traffic like you're playing real-life Frogger, and keeping your speed reasonable. If your heart is beating faster than the propeller, slow down. We need to stay on course and follow the rules because, surprisingly, those colorful buoys you may have thought were decorative are actually useful, believe it or not. Next, we're going to get into the subtleties of entering the harbor, and this is when things become interesting. Entering the harbor is where the real fun begins, in the sense that you need to be precise like a neurosurgeon or risk a lot of boat-related damage. This means controlled engine power, smooth steering because jerky movements are for amateur sailors, and anticipating those turns as if you are a chess master. Oh, and you should have a healthy respect for wind. It can either be your best friend or your worst enemy, and you need to learn how to control that relationship. Now get ready because we're going to talk about safety, and that's always a priority, even if it sounds boring. Now safety first because we're not trying to make the evening news, unless it's a slow news day. In that case, let's get it. We're talking respecting other boats, keeping a safe distance because personal space is important, even for boats, and staying alert because there's always some yahoo who's going to do something unexpected, even if it's you. And trust me, a lot can go wrong, and fast. If you're finding this useful, why don't you subscribe and leave a comment? I would appreciate it. Also, remember you can find more information on our playlist, Sailing Skills and Tips. Now, let's get to the final approach. Okay. We're in the home stretch. It's time for the final approach, which can make or break your docking experience. You need to communicate like you're directing a symphony because you are, and the boat and crew are the instruments. Reduce your speed, you're not late for anything, and make sure those fenders and dock lines are ready because it's all or nothing now. Here's a tip. Breathe, the end is near. And next, we will be addressing the big question. What do I need to take into consideration if I am handling a 55-foot boat? Because it is different, and you need to know. Let's talk about the beast in the room, the 55-foot sailboat. If you thought parallel parking a car was difficult, try docking a 55-footer. The inertia is like trying to stop a small truck, and the turning radius? It's what makes even experienced sailors sweat. Let's not even talk about windage. which is like trying to balance a giant sail in a hurricane. You'll need to know your prop walk, and draft is not a beer, people. It's also why you need to pay extra attention to your depth sounder. Basically, the lesson here is, respect the boat, or it will disrespect you right back. Okay, comma time for the takeaways. And listen up because this is important. Firstly, planning is your friend, so you better start liking it. Secondly, communication is key because no one is a mind reader. Third, keep control of the boat because you are not an extra on the Titanic. Fourth, safety is not a suggestion. And fifth, have patience because docking is not a race and trying to hurry it will cause a very expensive error. If you do all of this, you'll be docking like a pro in no time. And I know it sounds like a lot, but with practice, you'll get there. So now that you're not afraid of docking, are you ready to actually use that sailboat? Because it is not only about maneuvering it into the harbor, it is also about making it sail. It is time to master the sails, and for that you need our next video. So, if you're ready to take this to the next level, check out our next video. Hoist the mainsail. Click the card right here to watch it. Trust me, you don't want to miss this because it will teach you the way of the wind. Share this video with every sailor you know or anyone that you want to impress with your boating knowledge. Happy sailing. See you there!